Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, as you guys see, I laid out a nice little blanket. This is just to protect the bottom of the bumper and the diffuser. When I take it off, it's going to sit down on the ground. Still going to be attached initially, just because you have these sensors right there, and so you have to unplug that, and you don't want to scratch up the bottom of the paint or anything like that. So just set that for some protection. Also, what I'm going to do, I didn't do it last in my other video, is I'm going to jack up the car just to make it a little bit easier to get to. You don't have to. There is a decent amount of room, but this is just to help. That wasn't supposed to happen. As you can see, the motion sensor for the trunk still works because it's not carbon fiber. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack up the car. This way it's going to raise it up a little bit so I get some more room to work with underneath, because you got a couple bolts under there. Alright, well, I finally decided to take the car keys out of my pocket, so hopefully this will stop happening. Alright, so like I said, going to raise it up, give it a little bit more room to work with underneath there. Also, you don't have to do it, but by raising it up, you can take those rear tires off, because there are a couple screws / bolts on the back inner fender wheel area of the tires, and it's a lot easier to get to if the tires are out of the way, so that you can actually turn that wrench and take it off. You don't have to, it just makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start getting this taken apart. Alright, so now that we got the vehicle raised up, it's just enough that the tires are off the ground. Alright, and it gives you a little bit extra room to work under there too. Not that we'll be spending too much time. Alright, and then you have your mounts right there. So that's where you need to be having your jack stands. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take the tires off, and then we'll start taking the bumper off. Okay, so now that we got the wheels off, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about. So on the back right here, you have these bolts right there that you have to take off, and then there's, I think, 1 or 2 on the bottom on the underside. So not very big bolts or anything like that, but you don't have a whole lot of finger room to get behind those and unscrew those out with like a socket or something like that with the tire still in there. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So now we're going to go ahead and take out this bumper. So all there is that there's the 2 screws on the inside of the fender right there, and then there's a screw right here and right here. We're going to save these for last just so it's cut up. So we'll go ahead and do the inside. And it's a 8mm bolt. There's not a whole lot of torque holding these down. They're very coarse threads. See if you guys can see right here. Very coarse threads, and it's just going into a plastic piece right there. So you just need to be careful with, when you're tightening them back up, that you don't strip it out. So those are taken out. So now you just have to do these 2 right here. So there's this little protector plastic piece, and this pops out. It's got one of those little push-in locks on there, the little plastic ones. Mine broke off on here. They're pretty brittle. If you guys have the little pry tools on there, you can take it out. If not, it still holds it in there nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about it. But the little piece is right here, same size, 8mm. And it's exact same thing, just a little bit shorter piece. So now you won't get it mixed up. Just take that out right there. So now that that's done, all you have to do is just pop it off. It's just a whole bunch of little tabs. So you might have to use a little bit of force, but normally it comes off pretty easily. Okay, so I actually forgot that there's 3 bolts on each side you need to do. There's 2 that we showed you earlier that goes this way. And then there's a 3rd one on the top that goes straight up, and that holds this top section into this panel so that it doesn't pull out. So now that those bolts are out, you're just going to pry gently right here, and then up here, and that pops right out. You got these little tabs, they'll just pop right out. You're just going to work it across gently like that. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. Alright, just keep working your way across. Gently pop, you don't want to pull too hard. Alright, so now that this is loose, we have the 3 bolts on the bottom from the diffuser. Alright, so for those 3 bolts, you're going to go right down to your diffuser. Let's see if I can get this. Alright, and they're going to be right here. Got 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to be a 10mm bolt right there. They're just pretty snug down. They're not too difficult. So we'll go ahead and take those off, and then this whole thing will pull right out. 3 bolts are out. So we'll go ahead and take out this bumper. Now it still has the electronics attached, so be careful with that when you're taking it out. Alright, which is why I put this down here. Alright, so as you see, electronics are still attached right here. So easiest way that I found, instead of having to like take out and unplug them, because the German clips are super annoying, is to just twist out the actual sensor itself. They're in a daisy chain, so you're not going to mix them up. And they just push right out. Another thing to be careful about is that they do have this little rubber grommet, so make sure you keep those. That's what seals it on the outside, makes it look really pretty. See how quick those were? Don't need any special tools. Alright, so now we're just going to hang this over to the side, and your bumper is free and clear.